series of glass, which I believe is the Sigma Trio. Not sure, I have to look it up. But this one is the 16mm f1.4, and this is the Sigma 30. I believe this is also 1.4, as well as this 56, which is also 1.4. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to use some of my indoor buddies. These guys will be my test subject as to see how the focal length feels on my camera, the Sony a6600. He also, if I'm lucky, I like to play with his Sony a6100. We're gonna do some stuff with this as well. Want to test these lenses out and see how they perform on my Sony a6600 and test it on his 6100 and see how it compares, how it feels, how it looks against the glass that I'm used to, which is the Sony G Master 16 to 55 2.8. So that's what I'm using right now on this camera here. So I would like to see how they measure up against what I'm used to. I've seen these years ago on a review and always wanted to get my hands in it. I want to see if they're really worth the penny, and as far as how shots looks and stuff like that. So let's take a look and see what we get. So I did my little review, having a little family gathering birthday today, and I had a chance to use some people as subject as opposed to my little figurines. And I learned some things about the camera aside from how these lenses will perform in your short. At first I thought these only worked with autofocus. There was no manual focus buttons on it at all, and I'm having a trouble with it doing a lot of hunting. And if you're doing any kind of filming, you don't want any kind of focused breathing or hunting, as they call it. Depending on your distance, your pulling could be very long, but it's very smooth with these. It's really smooth. There's no jittering. It doesn't feel stuck. It's very smooth and very mechanical. And with that, in your settings in your camera, you're able to get very smooth shots and focus shots if you have to do some focus pulling. The autofocus is not bad, but once again, that focus breathing is a problem, and you never know when it's going to come. So once I figured out how to do the setting in the camera within itself, that's when I figured out this is how you're able to use this type of lens, these prime lenses, in a cinematic sense. If you're filming something and you want to make a move in decision, you don't want the camera to make the choice. This is the better way to go, and it's very smooth. And I really do like how these perform. This 56 is also pretty good. I should try it on here. I don't know, should I? Why not? Now I have the 56 Sigma on my Sony FS5 II, and this was the 30 that you see here. As you can see, a lot tighter, much tighter. I'm practically in your face. Now these types of shots are for extreme shots, shots that are used where you want to exude some type of intensity or something dramatic. And I mean, it doesn't really matter what you want, but a tight shot like this would not be really set for something in this magnitude. But I just wanted to see what the 56 looks like from this camera. And another thing I could do with this camera, I could play with the ND filters. I don't have any kind of other filters on here on this camera or for these lens, but let me see what that looks like with the ND filter on these lens. Let's see here. Okay, ND filter, about 1/5 of a stop. Not too bad. I like it. It looks pretty good. These are some impressive lens for the price range, I would definitely like to use these on my next up and coming project. Now that I know how I could handle the control of how I'm able to focus, it's not from the lens itself, the setting is coming from your camera. So depending on your camera settings, check that to know how you could get the best out of these lenses. So there's nothing on here to switch from auto to manual like my lenses. I do love the range that I have with those lenses, and the ability to control and make it either automatic or actually manual. Now, with this, if you want to use it in the automatic sense, you can, but again, this comes from the camera itself, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it depending on what you're trying to shoot. These Sigmas are pretty good, and I really like them. Again, this shot is too extreme. I shouldn't even be doing this talk piece within this frame, but I just wanted to see what the 56 would look like on here. Let's go back to the 30. So this is the 30 on an ND filter, and again, really good shot. You get enough of what you need. You know, I get some smidget of headroom. It really gets me here with you guys as I'm talking one-on-one, and I really like the way this looks at 30. It makes me stay right here within this box, and I kind of like the backdrop a little bit. I have some more working to do with the background a little bit. It's just a little bit of experimenting that I'm doing around here as I'm experimenting with these lenses. And again, I have to say, I really like these bad boys. They're really good. If you feel the glass, it feels like real glass. It doesn't feel like plastic or anything like that. It really feels like some hardware. Has some weight to it. Just again. Okay, it has some weight to it, but nothing too heavy. And for shots like this, I would really use this 30 for talking head. Maybe I'll probably go back a little bit more with a 24, but there is no 24 here. There's a 16, and that's a little bit too wide. So my variable fits pretty well within this range. I could do a 24, anything from 24 to like 35. This 30 is really pretty good. I really like the way this looks. It's open at its highest, well, close to its highest. This is at a 1.6, but this is still pretty open. I could close it in some more, but I just wanted to really see what it looks like with it at 1.6. Let me get ready to go to this birthday thing. So I gotta go. I'll give you some more stuff on this camera that I got going on here with his camera, but we're gonna really make these things work. I like this. Sigma, you've done your thing, and thank you, Rich, for letting me borrow it for a while because I really have some ideas. We'll talk.